Hey, this is Kirk.
And this is Bird on the Kirk and Bird Show. We have a special guest tonight. We have a star of the week from Potomac High School. We have Joseph Henry Jr., senior from Potomac. Joseph, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll also find out what you did on Friday night.
As the guy said, my name is Joseph Henry. I play running back for Potomac Senior High School, and I love the game of football. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say.
Yeah. Big night on Friday. So Potomac, you guys played a district game against Hilton. All right. A rivalry game, no doubt, not just because, you know, the high schools are in the same Cardinal district, but a lot of players on both teams that know each other, grew up playing youth football together. And we know especially that some of the kids you know on both teams. Any trash talk during the week?
No, actually not really, because I think it was the week before we had played Forest Park, and all we did on both sides was, you know, talk trash, and then it ended up for us being a loss. And,
okay,
you know,
I was there. Yeah. Yeah,
and then our coach the next week in practice, our coach handled it. We fixed up our mistakes. Came out on Friday with, you know, very with respect of the other team, not talking trash or anything, not looking down on them, or not playing on their competition.
Yeah.
And especially with the guys I grew up with, since I've been playing football with since I was like 5 or 6 years old, there's a lot of respect. So no unsportsmanship, anything.
Okay, that's good. That's real good. And, you know, we got a lot of people that are going to be watching and listening to this. And you made some really good points, especially about some of the trash talk, because you can never take your opponents too lightly. I was at that Forest Park game, and and that was a tough one. Like you guys were, went to double overtime, if I'm not mistaken. And you won't say it. I know you're going to be humble and modest because you just want you guys to win. But it stuck out to me that you didn't get the rock in your hands too many times, and I think that might have contributed it. But this past Friday, you touched it 22 times, 112 yards, and game-winning touchdown within the last minute of the game. Tell us how that went for you. How did it feel to be getting the rock that much?
Well, in practice, we were talking about, or our coach was talking about, we need to start running the ball. If we don't start running we need to start fixing how to run the ball so that we can win the game. Because our coach really likes to run the ball, but we haven't been able to do that. So that whole week, we just been practicing how to run the ball, minimizing on the passes, but we still did some passes because, you know, the whole game we can't just run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Help us get down the field more. And then when we get into the game, you know, it was just like practices. We kept going and going, made a few passes, kept going and going, and that's just how it went.
Cool. That's a big win over. I mean, Hilton's a storied program, and you also had some key plays. You had an interception, so you know that narrative that you just gave, Joseph. You talked about running the ball, but being able to pass. Talk to us about the good game that you had with 100. You know, had a total of 100 yards in high school. That's a much bigger deal than it is in college and the pros, and that helps set up the pass. You know, as you very well know. Talk to us about, you know, the way your line played, the running game, and the way that loosens up that defense because they got to look for any kind of play action and that type of thing.
Well, for that, for some defenses, if you just keep running it, it'll get them tired. So you just keep going. I believe we could have broke out some more runs, but there was just some times where the other players would just pull out my face mask, and obviously that made me very irritated, just personally. And then other penalties that we kept getting, back-to-back penalties. Actually, never mind, not really back-to-back penalties, just often penalties that kept sending us back, and it was just kind of throwing us off, which we need to minimize in the future.
You know, I know having a quarterback like Pete, I mean, he has a rifle for an arm. I know if as a coach, it may be a tendency to want to throw because he has such a great arm. But then, you know, having you there now at that school, I know he now sees the value in giving you those carries. I know you were hurt earlier in the year. Are you 100% back from the shoulder injury?
Yes, I am fully 100% back.
Good, good. And it looked like it on Friday. So we want to talk a little bit about where you're going from here. Who do you guys have this coming week? And what do you think about that opponent? And what do you think you guys can do for the rest of the year?
Coming up this week, we have a very tough opponent, which is Garfield.
District champs last year,
and
they beat Freedom, right?
Yeah, they got off a win from Freedom, came off last year of Colgan, and we've just been studying film review, learning their plays in practice, and just keep on repping them, learning how their defense works, learning how their offense works. And I believe it's going to be a tough game on Friday. But if we minimize our sorry about that.
No problem.
But if we minimize our mistakes from last week, minimize our mistakes in practice, I believe we could come out on top.
So yeah, one of the things is that times have changed since Rusty and I were in high school. You know, quite a few teams make the playoffs. So your goal obviously is to make the playoffs, and it sounds like you have a good trajectory for that. How do you feel? What division are you guys in, Joseph?
We are in the Cardinal District.
Division 6. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Division 6. Yeah. Sorry,
Cardinal District, Division 6. Yep.
I think it's 6A Cardinal Division.
Yep.
Okay. So, you know, if you play out, you should go into the playoffs, and then you're going to be looking at, you know, possibly playing a team out of Prince William County. You know, how do you feel about, you know, going beyond this Garfield game? You know, what's coming up, some of the teams that you're playing, and it sounds like, you know, coming off this big victory, that might be the motivator to send you into, you know, playing well, maybe upsetting or looking to beat Garfield, which would be a big win.
Yeah, we have a few tough opponents to get past, not just Garfield, but we also have Freedom and Woodbridge to get by. And I believe if we just study film and minimize mistakes going forward, it should be going well for us, especially when we get to the playoffs. Like we can't have those mistakes, because those mistakes could throw us back and lose us games, which we don't want at Potomac.
So let me ask you this. Tell us a little bit about what your plans are for the future. Do you want to play college football? If so, do you have any schools you like, or have you heard from anybody? And then, you know, outside of football, what do you want to major in? What do you want to do?
I do plan on attending to play college football. I'm still looking at different colleges and their programs to see what I go to. But for academic wise, I'd like to major in like avionics. So flying airplane, being able to fly airplanes, commercial airplanes.
Okay.
But I think mainly my main goal is to try to get an NFL, which is a really big step. But if that doesn't work out, then I guess that's where the aviation comes in.
Great. It's great to have those goals. Kirk?
No, I was just going to ask, have you visited any schools, and have you received any mail, and have you looked at the programs for avionics? Any schools like in particular?
Yeah, I have a few in mind. I went to camps over the summer, just after the school year ended. Went to a few different schools locally and out of state. And the one I really liked the most was Purdue and Maryland. And the Maryland running back coach said that he has an interest for me. But since I am the class of 22, he said he's not sure if he can give me an offer. But there are some other colleges that I have applied to already, which some of them would be North Dakota. I think it's North Dakota State or just North Dakota. Hampton University, Liberty University, and some more that I have to remember.
I know that Maryland not just football program, which is on the rise, but also the engineering and avionics there are out off the chain. Kurt and I have a mutual friend, Russell Arrington, who did his graduate work at Maryland, and he developed a friendship with a guy that played football with us, named Chris, and he got his PhD in helicopter aviation something. But the brother was thorough, you know, and but he was a great football player, smart, down to earth guy. But I mean, he knew everything about building, from that perspective, building helicopters. And yeah, Dr. Chris, that's my man now. But so I know Maryland is one of the best country programs in the country for that type of stuff. All right. Joseph, tell me a little bit now. I know this is your first year at Potomac, but traditionally, Potomac has been, especially over these last couple of years, a basketball powerhouse.
Yeah.
Is there any talk between the football players and the basketball players about, you know, who's the best or who's going to do this or that? Or do you have any guys that play basketball and football? Yeah, they've set the goals pretty high over there in terms of some of their accomplishments over the last 5 to 10 years.
From what I experienced, there's not that really much talk, because normally we just know who's who and who's better. But you know, since our new head coach came in, Coach Juwan Johnson came in, he's trying to flip the program around and, you know, make it a better team. Even after coming out last year as I think it was their first winning season since 2012, going 4-2. So I think we're coming right back, continuing that trend of trying to flip the team over and be successful.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Let me ask you this, Joseph. Who stands out when you look at the season so far? Who you played against? Who are some of the players that are like have that wow factor? Because I know in that part of Northern Virginia, there's some excellent football down there. I mean, we've got some nationally ranked players, you know, top 10 in the country. Who are some of the players that stand out that you played against? Because you played defense also.
Yes, I have. I think a person from Battlefield who is committed to Duke. I don't know.
Duke, yeah. The kid's
I
number 88. Yeah, I forget his name too. But yeah, that's the first person that came to mind for me.
Yeah, he's pretty decent. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I know he was pretty decent. He was kind of shutting down our offense a little bit, which causes, slow us down a lot, which we couldn't get the ball down the field that much. But
Forrest, go ahead.
Forrest Park.
Yeah.
Gilbert, number 53. He's a pretty tough dude. You know, I think he's 6'4", 200 and something pounds. He's a really big kid, and he's very tough. He plays multiple positions. He kicks the ball. He can go up at tight end and catch the ball. So he's an all-around athlete.
He's committed to Boston College.
Yes, Boston College. Mm-hmm. And then there's another player, but I haven't played against him. He's at Uni to Reed, Sean Murphy.
Yep.
Alabama commit. He's a
beast. Yeah.
There's no words to explain. I think just him going to Alabama just explains it. Being a 5-star athlete going to Alabama just explains how he plays.
Yeah. So let me know, Joseph, I know you've been playing football for a number of years. I know your father's coached you and you've been on some really good teams. Tell me, who would you say you kind of look up to? Who do you kind of model your game after? Or who are some of your favorite athletes in football or just in sports? Or overall, just who's a role model for you?
I would say someone I look up to for football would be Marshawn Lynch, because I wear his number, and he just runs aggressively. He's not soft at all. He knows how to break tackles. He even has that one famous run. I think he has two famous. What's it called? Beast mode.
Beast mode. Yeah.
Beast mode. Yeah. And it was just very inspirational to me. So I just kind of want to follow that trend of what he has done in his career.
That's cool. That's great. Yeah, my growing up for me, it was Walter Payton. That was my man. That's who I have a fat head of Walter Payton in my basement.
Yeah,
that was my dude. What about you, Kurt?
Oh, I just growing up, I would say,
You were a basketball player. So the Jordan?
yeah, yeah. I idolized Jordan, and I love the way he carried himself. He was a perfectionist. In football, there were a lot of guys from the golden times, the golden era. I always liked the wide receivers for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Stallworth, Swan.
Lynn Swan, yeah.
Yeah, those guys. So, I always looked up to those guys. But, it's funny now that I get older, I find that I looked up to older guys in our programs, in our
Yeah.
real life. I look up to guys that are 4, 5, 6 years older than me. Some of them I've had on my channel, the Kirk Effect, and those guys.
Boo Williams.
Yes, those guys have gone on to do great things. Several of them had the privilege of playing professional sports, but it's once you get older, you bring it back down to earth, and people that that have really made an impact. And I'm sure, Joseph, as you get older, you'll find out that all things are local, and we're hoping that you get the opportunity. Has anybody talked to you, Joseph, about prep school, like a Fort Union or a Hargrave or Valley Forge up in PA, anything like that?
No, not really, not that much, no.
Well, that can usually be because of academics. So if you sound like you're strong academically, because that's usually an academic stepping stone, but also it gives you a year to get bigger, faster, stronger. So
yeah, and thus you're talking about the postgraduate program. Sometimes it's academics, but like you said, it's actually sometimes to get bigger, faster, stronger. Melendez, my brother who played at Virginia Tech, they actually a JV team where some of the freshmen play, and they played Fort Union. And my brother says he remembers tackling Eddie George, Fort Union, who went on to Ohio State and won the Heisman Trophy. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any trips planned, Joseph? Anybody invited you to a game, anything like that, Mel?
I actually got invited to go to one of the games for Maryland. I still have yet to decide which one to go because I've been kind of busy lately with school and football.
Yeah. Pick a good one. They got that Big Ten schedule, so pick a good one on a Saturday.
Yeah. So last thing I want to know, Joseph, is what is it that you think would be your ideal situation going forward? So, tell me what does it look like? How does this season end? How does your your recruiting process, your college, just if you had an ideal situation?
Well, what I think we should be able to, play football past, the very last game. And my coaches always say we want to be coaching we want to be coaching still after Thanksgiving. We want to be coaching in December. And our coaches are very motivational, which I really haven't had in the recent years. And after the season's over, I can try to work on the recruiting process, trying to get into college, which I'm working on right now at the moment. And what was the next one about after?
Just in general,
after college, just life.
After college, oh, I don't know about that one. I haven't really gotten that deep yet.
What part of the country do you think you want to live in? You like the DC area? I know your father's retired military. Did you guys move around earlier, or
to be honest, I'm trying to move out of the DMV area. We've been here since 2008, so I'm just trying to find somewhere new to go.
Okay, I feel you. Yeah, I know. For me, we grew up in Hampton, and my dad's military, and that's a big military area, so you get a lot of people coming in and out. But I loved Hampton. I always thought, hey, I want to play football in this area. I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna come back home, get a job in this area. I loved it, but things worked out for me coming to DC, and this is an awesome place as well. So now I've been blessed to have two great places to call home. I actually been here longer than I lived in Hampton. I only lived there for 18 years. Yeah. All right. Well, look, I know also if you want to give a shout out let me tell you something about this young man, Kirk, and to our audience that'll be watching this. A leader on the field. I know he did that at Colgan. He did that on his youth football team, 7-on-7 teams. I've seen that. So the coaches out here that are watching this, you're going to get a kid that's a leader. He's a tough worker, tough ball player. He's smart. He comes from a great family. I know his mother and father have, they really have invested a lot into not just making him a really good, strong, great athlete, but also a good person. He's always been respectful. Tell us about some of your siblings and what they're doing. I know you have a sister that's in college. And then any shout out you want to give your parents, give them props, man.
Oh yeah, big thanks to them for raising me in general, making me a good person that I am and continue to be throughout life. And my siblings, they're living life. My sister has gone off to Ball State for gymnastics. My other sister, Janessa, moved into a house with her fiance. They should be getting married here, I think, about sometime next year.
Okay.
And my brother, he's still in the Army. He's been in the Army for about maybe I don't really know how long, but it's been a while.
Okay.
And my other sisters, they haven't really lived with me that much in my life, but I know they're doing good right now.
All right. Well, good. Glad to hear that. Make sure they get some love. All right. Anything else, Kirk?
No, I just want to wish you luck and keep on keeping on. Life is just about it's not a destination, it's a journey. And maybe you'll go up to North Dakota State, end up in a different part of the country. You never know where you're going to end up. But I tell you what, I always say this: we make millions and millions of decisions, and a lot of them we make bad decisions. All of us, even at this age, and a lot of bad decisions you get away with. But sometimes there's statistical outliers. You don't get away with those bad decisions, like deciding to be with someone. You're like, maybe I shouldn't go this place or that place, or maybe getting behind the wheel of a car with alcohol and, that kind of thing. 99.9% of the time you drive home. And then statistical outlier is, and I'm saying this because if your friends are watching it, you drive home and you accidentally hit somebody and you kill them. It's just one of those things. It's like, it's never going to happen to me because it hardly ever does. And that's just one of those things. It's just little decisions. And adults make them also. We make mistakes also. So, you sound like you have a fantastic head on your shoulder. You've got a great foundation with your family. And, just don't be too hard on yourself. Let the wind be at your back. And, sounds like you've got some good ideas already. Would love to see you at some of these places. Some of the places that you named, I mean, you didn't name any of the places that you talked about going to school are great places. Purdue, Maryland, North Dakota, Hampton University, Rusty and I know all about it. I grew up right down the street from it. Liberty's a great school, got a football only complex, which UVA and Tech does not. So keep working hard. We wish the best. I'm gonna keep up with you. Hopefully get down to that area and watch you play and watch you get in the playoffs.
Yep. Good luck the rest of the way. The last thing I'll leave you with, Joseph, is something that Kirk talked about for himself, and that is, some people looked up to people you can't really see or touch. And that's, maybe a Michael Jordan or whoever, Walter Payton. But a lot of people look up to the people that are just a little bit above and ahead of them. So Kirk talked about the ones that are 5 or 6 ahead of them. I know I looked up to some of the guys when I was in, going in middle school or in high school, in 9th grade, 10th grade, and I'd see those seniors and I looked up to them. And I looked up to the Creighton Communities, the Rodney Howards, the All-State guys that were like because I was a 10th grader, I played varsity with them, but they were great players, went on to do some amazing things. And I say that I'm telling you because you may not realize it, but there are middle school athletes, there are 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade athletes out there, and you may not realize it, but they're looking at you. There's some kid wearing 24 on JV or in youth football because of you. So remember that. Keep doing your thing, man, and keep representing. Proud of you, man. Keep doing your stuff. We'll be happy to follow you. All right.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate the good
And
comments.
lastly, Joseph, we are on Twitter, the Kirk and Bird, BYRD on Twitter. Our YouTube channel is the Kirk and Bird BYRD show. So this that you see here right now will be a video, 15, 20 minutes. And then we're also on Amazon, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts in case anybody ever wants to just listen. If you want to tell your dad he wants to listen to it on the way home or a workout or anything like that. So those are the things. Spread the word for Kirk and Bird and keep on keeping on. Thank you for taking the time tonight. Really appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you for having
Thanks,
me.
man.
All right. Kirk and Bird out. Thanks, Joseph. Take care.